Right, so today I'm going to talk about WrestleMania 1. I'm thinking of doing like a playlist of all the WrestleManias. So that's probably all I'm going to be posting for a while when I can, rather than all these other things, just because there's like 40 odd, I think there's 40 odd, there must be. So yeah, I'm going to start with WrestleMania 1 and then work my way up, so I'm going to end up having like a lot more WrestleManias every time a WrestleMania comes out, where I have to do it about what's happened and all that lot. So let's get into this WrestleMania 1. So WrestleMania 1 was a 1985 professional wrestling pay-per-view event produced by WWF. It was the inaugural WrestleMania. It took place March 31st, 1985, at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The attendance for the event was 19,121. The event was seen by over 1 million viewers through a closed circuit television, making it the largest pay-per-view showing of a wrestling event on a closed circuit television in the United States at the time. The event consisted of 9 professional wrestling matches. In the main event, Hulk Hogan and Mr. T defeated Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper. Also, Wendy Richter, accompanied by Cyndi Lauper, defeated Liane Kai to win the WWF Women's Championship, while Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik defeated the US Express to win the WWF Tag Team Championship. Celebrity guests included former heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali as referee, baseball player Billy Martin as a ring announcer, and the musician actor Liberance as a timekeeper. The retrospective reviews of WrestleMania 1 have been mixed, with critics generally ranking it as one of the most average WrestleManias in history, while the main event earned generally positive reviews. Many undercard matches were negatively received. Despite this, its success led to a follow-up the next year, subsequently becoming the largest annual professional wrestling event in history, later described as the Super Bowl of sports entertainment. So the background of the WrestleMania is during the 80s, the WWF main competition in professional wrestling industry was from Jim Crockett's promotion of the NWA. Vince McMahon countered Jim Crockett's successful Starrcade annual events, which began airing in 1983, by creating WrestleMania in 1985. A rights agreement with which Barry Diller, head of the USA Network and co-owner of Paramount, pushed by 1983, also allowed better access to programming at Madison Square Garden in New York City, including on any regional pay-per television network. For the first WrestleMania, McMahon began cross-promoting with MTV, which aired 2 wrestling specials. The inaugural broadcast was entitled The Brawl to End It All and aired on July 23rd, 1984, in which the match from a live Madison Square Garden broadcast was shown on MTV. Wendy Richter, allied with Cyndi Lauper, defeated the Fabulous Moolah, backed by Lou Albano, to win the WWF Women's Championship on the card. At the second MTV broadcast, titled The Walls Settle the Score, Liane Kai, accompanied by Moolah, defeated Richter, and once again accompanied by Lauper, to win the Women's Championship. Aside from Lauper, other celebrities also appeared during the build-up to and after the event, most notably Muhammad Ali, Liberance, Major League Baseball manager Billy Martin, and the actor Mr. T. All appeared during the main event. The announcer, Gene Oakland, sang the Star-Strangled Banner, while Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura provided commentary. Oakland also conducted interviews backstage, while Alfred Hayes conducted interviews near the entrance to the locker room. Right outside the ring, and Howard Finkel served as the event's ring announcer. The opening theme for the event was the instrumental portion of Phil Collins and Phil Bailey's hit song Easy Lover, while the closing theme for the credits was Axel F by Harold Faltermeyer. So in storylines, the card consisted of 9 matches that resulted from scripted storylines. 3 championships were defended at WrestleMania: the WWF Women's Championship, the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and the World Tag Team Championship. Leading up to the event, Greg the Hammer Valentine had feuded with Tito Santana over the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Valentine defeated Santana on September 24, 1984 for the title. Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham won the WWF Tag Team Championships 3 months before WrestleMania from the team of Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch. In the months leading up to WrestleMania, Roddy Piper began a talk show segment on television entitled The Piper's Pit. On one episode of the show, Piper hit Jimmy Snuka over the head with a coconut, after verbally berating him, leading to a heated feud between the 2 men. As part of the storyline, Piper recruited Cowboy Bob Orton as his bodyguard. Sometime later, during another episode of Piper's Pit, Piper spoke out against the burgeoning rock and wrestling connection, which led to a confrontation with Hulk Hogan. In February 1985, the 2 men faced off each other in WWF World Heavyweight Championship match at the War to settle the score, where the reigning champion Hogan won by disqualification. After interference from Paul Orndorff and Mr. T, their ongoing feud led to a tag team match at WrestleMania. As part of the promotion's event, Hogan appeared on a talk show entitled Hot Properties 4 days prior to WrestleMania, where he put host Richard Belzer in a front chin lock. It was a move that cuts off the flow of blood to the brain, as it will prove to Belzer that the audience just how real professional wrestling is. Belzer, however, fell to the floor unconscious and began to bleed profusely. His injury required 8 stitches. Belzer later sued Hogan for $5 million, but they eventually settled out of court. The night before WrestleMania, Hogan and Mr. T hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live event to help promote the event. So the preliminary matches, Gene Okerlund opened the event singing the national anthem. The original intended singer was celebrity guest that Okerlund and Vince McMahon refused to name, failed to appear. The opening match was Tito Santana and the Executioner. Santana won the match by submission, applying a figure 4 leg lock on the Executioner, which was a shot at the current Intercontinental Champion Greg Valentine, as a figure 4 was his finishing move. Following the opening match, King Kong Bundy, accompanied by Jimmy Hart and Special Delivery Jones, made their way to the ring after crushing Jones against a turnbuckle and executing a big splash. Bundy won the match. The WWF's official time for the match is a then record time of 9 seconds. A record since surpassed by The Rock defeating Eric Rowan at WrestleMania 32, although the match actually lasted 24 seconds. The match was between Ricky Steamboat. The next match was between Ricky Steamboat and Matt Bourne. Steamboat took the early advantage in the matchup until Bourne flipped him over and slammed him into the mat using a belly-to-belly suplex. After performing a flying crossbody, Steamboat pinned Bourne to win. After the match ended, David Sammartino, accompanied by Bruno Sammartino and Brutus Beefcake, accompanied by Johnny Valiant, made their way to the ring. The action favoured both contestants, as each wrestler alternated having the advantage. After Beefcake threw David out the ring, Valiant lifted him and slammed him into the cement floor. He then pushed Sammartino back into the ring before being attacked by Bruno. A short while later, all 4 men began fighting in the ring and the match ended in a no contest. As you know, I've changed where I was filming because my next door neighbour who lives above me has put on stuff for the grandchild, so there's going to be a bunch of noise because she lives above me and the floor is very thin, so there's going to be a bunch of noise. So I've now got to record in here instead. So we're going to continue. The first championship match at WrestleMania was between the Junkyard Dog and reigning WWF Intercontinental Champion Greg Valentine, who was accompanied to the ring by his manager Jimmy Hart. Junkyard Dog began the match in an offensive position performing headbutts and punches on Valentine as the action went back and forth. He hard climbed onto the ring apron, but Valentine accidentally hit him. Later, Valentine pinned Drunk Young Dog with his feet on the ropes for leverage, which is an illegal maneuver. As a result, Tito Santana ran down to the ring and explained to the referee what had happened, and the match was restarted. Drunk Young Dog eventually won the match by a count out as Valentine failed to re-enter the ring. Valentine, however, kept the title, as titles do not change hands unless they are pinned or submitted. So the following match was for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik, accompanied to the ring by Freddie Blassie, challenged the reigning champions US Express, who were accompanied by Lou Albano. The US Express dominated the early part of the match until Volkov and the Sheik began to gain their offensive advantage over Rotundo. Rotundo then tagged in Wyndham, who formed a bulldog on Sheik after nearly being pinned. The Sheik hit Wyndham in the head with Blassie's cane as the referee had his back turned. After Volkov got the pin, Volkov and the Sheik were crowned as the new tag champions, becoming the first wrestlers to win the championship at WrestleMania. The next match on the card was a $15,000 body slam challenge between Andre the Giant and Big John Studd, who was accompanied by Bobby Heenan. The stipulation of the match was that if Andre the Giant had to body slam Studd to win $15,000, and if he failed, he would be forced to retire. After beginning the match in a defensive position, Andre countered with chops and a headbutt. From then on, Andre controlled the match, and after weakening Studd's knees and multiple kicks, Andre was able to lift Studd over his shoulder and execute a body slam to win the match. After Andre collected his shoulders and collected his prize money, he started throwing the money into the audience. Heenan, however, grabbed the bag of holding the remainder of the winnings and ran from ringside. As a result of the match, Andre was able to continue his career and his WWF undefeated streak, and was unscathed. After all of the men had left the ringside, it was time for the WWF Women's Championship match between Wendy Richter, managed by Cyndi Lauper, and Liana Kai, managed by former champion the Fabulous Moolah. Shortly after the match, Moolah grabbed Richter as she was outside on the floor, but Lauper saved her from the attack. Kyle then performed a flying crossbody from the top rope, but Richter used Kai's momentum to roll Kai up into a pinning position. With this pin, Richter became the new women's champion. The main event and the last match of the night was Hulk Hogan for the reigning WWF champion and Mr. T, accompanied by Jimmy Snuka against Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, accompanied by Calvo Borvorten. Professional boxer Muhammad Ali was the special guest referee, and the New York Yankees manager Billy Martin was guest announcer, and Liberance was the guest timekeeper. First Piper Orndorff and Orton made their way to the ring, and the drums and bagpipes played, causing the crowd to boo. Crowd favourites Hogan and Mr. T and Snuka made their way to the ring. Next, the match began with Mr. T and Piper in the ring, and the two traded blows. Midway through the match, all four men began brawling in the ring, and Muhammad Ali punched Piper in the attempt to restore order. After the match's order was restored, Orndorff and Piper had the offensive advantage as Orndorff locked Hogan into a full Nelson. Orton climbed the top rope in an attempt to knock Hogan. Instead, Orton mistakenly hit Orndorff, and Hogan pinned him to win the match. In frustration, Piper knocked out the ring official, Pat Patterson, before he and Orton retreated backstage, leaving Orndorff alone in the ring with Hogan, Mr. T and Snooker. The attendance of the event was 90,121. In addition, the event was seen at over 1 million viewers by closed circuit television, making it the largest working event in closed circuit television in the United States at the time. The technical glitch ended the closed circuit broadcast early into the show at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh on a local ABC. Pittsburgh, to appease angry fans who repeated the screen with the garbage WrestleMania was broadcast in its entirety on a local ABC affiliated WTAE TV on Saturday, April 6, 1985. John Powell of Slam Wrestling rated the event as average, citing it wasn't the greatest. Despite his overall rating, he praised several moments, including Orton hitting Orndorff with a cast, King on Bundy's win, the Andre the Giant throwing the money into the crowd. Powell has listed Mr. T's wrestling as least favourite moment of the pay-per-view, saying the main event match in which Mr. T took part was humorous despite its lack of technical wrestling. The Pro Wrestling Illustrated awarded the main event match as the PWI Match of the Year honour. The event was included in the July 27, 2007 special that aired the MSG Network, titled The 50 Greatest Moment of Madison Square Garden, ranking at number 30. In December of 2002, issue of the Wrestling Digest, the main event match was listed as number 5 in the most memorable 25 matches past 25 years, echoing John Powell's thoughts. Kevin Eek of Wrestling Digest stated that the match itself was from technical... where was I? This must makes it really hard to read off. I found where I was. It says, stated that the match itself was far from technical wrestling classic, but it was delivered in the terms of entertaining the crowd. In another Wrestling Digest article written by Keith Lawyer, the main event was ranked the third in the top 10 matches of WrestleMania history. It contrast to Powell or believed that Mr. T proved to be a adequate grappler. Several of the undercard matches received more negative reception. Reviewing the TG Wrestling, John Canton rated the Body Slam challenge between Big John Studd and Andre Giant Dud, stating it needed to be 2 minutes tops, and noting how limited both men were. Reviewing the FF 411 Mania, Kevin Toja was mildly more positive, highlighting the novelty of someone possibly while slamming Andre the Giant and the nature of pure speculate, but stated it had plenty of plodding moments. Now, in the aftermath, approximately 3 months after WrestleMania, on July 6th, 1985, Greg Valentine lost the Intercontinental Championship back to Tito Santana in a cage match. At about the same time, Nikolai Volkov and Iron Sheik lost the Tag Team Championships back to the US Express. They held the titles until August, when the team of Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine, later known as the Dream Team, became the new champions. In July 1985, Don Morocco became the inaugural King of the Ring tournament by defeating the Iron Sheik in the finals. After Andre the Giant defeated Big John Studd at the event, Studd formed the tag team King Kong Bundy. The duo faced Andre and Hulk Hogan on several occasions. Later, the team of Studd and Bundy teamed up in handicap matches, 2-against-1 wrestling matches against Andre, which renewed the feud between Andre and Studd. In late 1985, Wendy Richter lost the WWF Championship in a controversial fashion. She wrestled a masked wrestler known as Spider Lady, who pinned Richter to win the title. After the match, Spider Lady was revealed to be Fabulous Moolah. The finish was a screw job, i.e. the one participant was unaware of the title change. Richter left WWE shortly after. Moolah held the title for 2 years. In the new storyline after WrestleMania, Roddy Piper began training Bob Orton as a boxer. Hulk Hogan accepted a challenge on behalf of Mr. T to face Orton in the match at Saturday Night's Main Event 5. After Mr. T won the match, Orton and Piper attacked him, leading to a boxing match at WrestleMania 2 between Piper and Mr. T at the second annual WrestleMania. Piper was disqualified in the 4th round. The main event of the inaugural WrestleMania would also be the only time that a tag team match would be contested in a main event until WrestleMania 39 at WrestleMania in 2023, when the Usos defended the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the main event of Night 1, in what would also be the first time the Tag Team Championships would be defended at the main event. WrestleMania would become considered the main company's flagship event and has become the longest running professional wrestling event in history. It held the annually between mid-March to mid-April, following the Evidence Survivor Series in 1987 and then the Royal Rumble and SummerSlam in 1988. WWF's 4 original pay-per-views. The 4 would eventually be referred to as the Big 4 from 1993 to 2002. These 4, along with King of the Ring, were referred as the Big 5 until King of the Ring was discontinued as an annual pay-per-view after its 2002 event. But in 2021, Money in the Bank became referred to as the Big 5. WrestleMania would eventually be described as the Super Bowl of sports entertainment. So obviously I did have to move where I was because of my young grandchild being a bit noisy with what he was watching and it coming through the floor, so obviously now I'm in a different place. Hopefully this is a reasonable video. So I might make this into like a series where I do a WrestleMania match probably. I might end up doing a WrestleMania match at least once a week, maybe a bit more depending on how much time I have. So if I'm on like a 6-10 at work, I might do one, or if I'm off a day I might do one and then do a different video afterwards depending on how long it is. But I just want to get through all the WrestleManias and then make sure when I've done them all, then when new WrestleMania happens I can put that onto the playlist and record and put it on place, and then I might do like a Royal Rumble or a SummerSlam, just go through everyone. And then, depending on what I do, I might end up doing it, putting gaps in between them on some of them. But I don't know, just wanted to do WrestleMania really, because I thought it'd be a good idea.